The chair now recognizes Ranking Member Fulcher for 30 seconds to introduce Governor Brad Little of Idaho. Mr. Fulcher, you recognize, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I mentioned earlier in my opening statement today, we are joined by Governor from my home state of Idaho, Brad Little. Governor Little is not only a fourth-generation rancher, his family founded one of the largest off-road vehicle parks in America, the Little Gem Cycle Park. His testimony before the committee during the 115th Congress was extremely beneficial in understanding the importance of livestock grazing and the challenges facing rural America. And I have no doubt that his testimony today will be equally beneficial to the committee. With that, I'm proud to introduce my good friend and fellow Idahoan, Governor Little, and I'm sure that in the process he'll share that it was the person who succeeded him as the Idaho State Senate caucus chair that is responsible for all of his success. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Governor, welcome, and please, Governor, the time is yours, and you're recognized, sir, for your testimony.
Thank you, Chairman Grijalva and Congressman Fulcher, who did an admirable job of succeeding me in the Idaho Senate as caucus chairman. Committee members, but I too from Idaho want to extend our sincere condolences to the people of Colorado and Chairman Nagusa's district. These kind of events make some of the other things we do in life pale in comparison. So the hearts and prayers of all of Idaho are with them. Besides being a rancher, I want to just talk briefly about the other hat I wore as a rancher before I got into public service. I had a long history representing my fellow ranchers and, in fact, people in Idaho and all over the West in working with both the commodity groups and conservation groups to sometimes successfully and sometimes unsuccessfully craft win-win scenarios for Western communities and conservation-minded people all over this country. Idaho is a massive Western state with about 2/3 of our land owned or managed by the federal government. With a relatively small population of 1.8 million, Idaho still in many areas feels like the Wild West. Only 2 other states have more designated wilderness areas where the most stringent environmental protections prevent any human activity other than by foot or by horse. The enormous amounts of designated wilderness in Idaho underscores the importance of keeping our remaining federal lands as working lands. Idaho is a mostly rural state. The majority of our communities rely on access via public lands for multiple uses, whether that be grazing, timber harvest, mining, outdoor recreation, and increasing tourism. These rural areas pay for fire management. They pay for roads and other essential functions. They simply cannot continue to do that without the ability to benefit in some way economically from the public lands. In addition, the recreating public depend on services provided by these rural communities. But Idaho is also the nation's fastest growing state. And as more and more people migrate here, the continued access to public lands for multiple use will become even more important. In Idaho, public lands are integral to our livelihoods, and we recognize we need to do all we can to keep these lands healthy for future generations. In most cases, conservation, not preservation, will achieve healthy public lands that provide a benefit and promote a high quality of life for our people for years to come. The no action approach generally does little more than incubate dangerous conditions, prevent active management, and harm rural economies. Conservation, on the other hand, embraces the role that communities play in managing the land so they can stay healthy for future generations. We have seen great success here in Idaho with diverse interests coming together to find common ground in conservation, public land management in many areas. We led the country in establishing rangeland Fire Protection Association, where ranchers, like my sons, are trained and equipped to assist BLM in initial attack on fire. Idaho led the nation in launching the Good Neighbor Authority and Shared Stewardship, two initiatives that are improving the health of our forest and wildlife habitat, minimizing fire risk to communities, and creating jobs. Diverse interests came together in Idaho to agree on a plan to conserve sage grouse and their habitat, demonstrating grassroots approach. Conservation groups and the timber industry and many others came together to create Idaho's roadless rules to respond and manage 9 million acres of our national forests. It is important to note that in these instances, it was a partnership with us and the federal agencies to get these things done. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you, and I look forward to your questions of the subcommittee. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, sir, and thank you, Governor, for being with us today and taking the time.